Welcome to World Rare Coin, where forgotten treasures rise from history and ordinary pocket change transforms into legendary fortune. Imagine holding a small shining piece of metal that once passed through countless hands, a tiny artifact from the past that today carries the weight of mystery, excitement, and unbelievable value. Hidden in drawers, piggy banks, and old collections lie 9 extraordinary quarter-dollar coins from the United States, coins so rare that collectors would travel across oceans for just one opportunity to see them. These coins are not ordinary currency. They are stories of vanished eras, secrets of minting mistakes, arts of limited designs and symbols that once defined American pride. Each one carries a unique tale waiting to be discovered, a tale of rarity, survival, and pure historical magic. People search garage sales, estate auctions, dusty attics, hoping to uncover one of these wonders. And if found, life changes instantly because rarity brings power and passion in the world of numismatics. Today we are diving deep into the incredible journey of these 9 special quarters, the ones that have shocked experts and created legends among collectors. Stay with us as we reveal how these rare pieces turned into million-dollar dreams, and why your next coin might be the treasure of a lifetime. Coin number 1, the 2002 Tennessee Quarter, a piece of American art that most people overlook. A small circular treasure born from the heart of the United States Mint, carrying the symbols of music, history, and pride, minted to honor the state known as the birthplace of sound, Tennessee. This coin tells a story that is far deeper than the shine of its surface. It is a tale of craftsmanship, error, rarity, and fate. A tale that numismatists and collectors whisper about in forums and auction rooms, where one coin out of millions became worth $6 million. And the journey of how that happened begins with the smallest of details. This coin, minted in 2002, celebrates Tennessee's rich musical heritage, with 3 instruments on its reverse: a guitar, a fiddle, and a trumpet. Surrounded by musical notes and the words musical heritage, Tennessee and 1796, the year Tennessee joined the Union. The design captures the rhythm of American sound, but the secret of the $6 million coin hides not in its melody, but in the metal itself. Somewhere during the minting process, an extraordinary error occurred, a strike so unusual that it created a coin different from all others. Numismatic experts from PCGs and NNGC examined the coin with magnifying precision, studying the strike, the planchet, the thickness, the weight, and the metallic layers. They discovered micro-misalignments, doubled edges, and a mysterious die clash that revealed a faint impression of another state design beneath the Tennessee image, an impossible combination that should not exist. And yet, it does. The 2002 Tennessee Quarter weighs approximately 5.7 grams, with a diameter of 24-26 millimeters and a thickness of 1.75 millimeters, but the million-dollar version carries slight deviations. Microscopic yet undeniable, its reeded edge shows faint irregular spacing, and its copper-nickel layers shimmer with a tone that experts describe as off-metal, a blend suggesting it may have been struck on a transitional planchet, perhaps intended for a different coin. These variations transform an ordinary quarter into a historical masterpiece. Collectors who study the art of grading know that the difference between a coin worth 25 cents and one worth millions lies in the grade, the surface, the luster, and the strike. Professional grading companies like PCGs and NGC use strict scales, from poor to mint state 70, to define perfection. The legendary $6 million Tennessee Quarter received an MS-69 grade, nearly perfect, flawless to the naked eye, glowing under the grading lamp like a mirror of history. Imagine holding that coin, feeling its smooth, reeded edges, the raised details of the instruments, the faint shimmer that sets it apart, the sound it makes when dropped gently on a table, not the dull ring of an ordinary coin, but a bright tone that collectors describe as pure and clean, a sound that sings like the music of the state it represents. That coin has traveled through hands, through time, and through chance, until it found its way into a collector's world who understood its power. The story goes that a man in Nashville found the coin in loose change after buying coffee. He noticed something strange. The design looked doubled. The guitar strings seemed thicker, the letters slightly shadowed. Curious, he kept it aside. Weeks later, he attended a local coin show and presented it to a dealer. The dealer gasped, realizing what he saw was not a normal minting. Within months, the coin passed from one expert to another, authenticated by PCGs, valued and finally auctioned for millions, turning an everyday purchase into a life-changing discovery. Numismatics, the science and art of coin collecting, teaches that every coin holds a story, and that errors, die cracks, and planche varieties are the fingerprints of history. The Tennessee Quarter, with its unique strike and musical symbolism, connects collectors not only to value but to meaning, to the very soul of American minting, and to the idea that art can exist in the smallest form of metal. For those seeking such treasures, the first rule is knowledge. Study your coins, look for doubled dies, misprints, off-centers, clipped planches, and transitional metals. The difference may be invisible to the untrained eye, but obvious to the collector who studies under bright light and magnification. Coins like this are authenticated and graded by PCGs and NGC, and those slabs, those tiny plastic windows with serial numbers, can turn a coin into a global collectible. Buyers from around the world trust those certifications, and the market value climbs higher with every verified rarity. Now imagine you holding a 2002 Tennessee Quarter, wondering if it could be the one. Start by checking the mint mark. The coin should have a D for Denver or P for Philadelphia. But sometimes, rare no mint mark strikes exist, and that alone can spark interest. Check the rim for thickness uniformity. Feel for sharp edges or misaligned lettering. Observe the spacing of the musical notes. Any doubling or misprint could signal something extraordinary. The coin's composition, copper-nickel clad over copper core, makes it resistant to corrosion but also reveals unique color patterns when struck incorrectly. Under bright light, certain error coins show rainbow toning, a phenomenon caused by heat, pressure, and metal displacement. And collectors adore this visual symphony. It becomes part of the coin's fingerprint. One of one, irreplaceable and priceless. The thickness, just 1.75 millimeters in ordinary quarters, can vary in error coins up to 1.82 millimeters, and that fractional difference can multiply its value by thousands. The weight, too, instead of 5.67 grams, some rare Tennessee quarters weigh slightly less or more, showing evidence of a foreign planche or a minting misfeed. Every anomaly adds intrigue. Every gram tells a story. Every difference whispers opportunity. So where can such coins be sold? True collectors turn to trusted platforms, heritage auctions, great collections, eBay-verified sellers, and direct PCGs or NGC certified sales. Never rush to pawn shops. Never fall for quick offers. Patience and certification are your strongest allies. PCGs and NGC not only grade but provide provenance, the documented history of your coin, which increases trust and value exponentially. Many collectors dream of finding one coin like this, the kind that changes their life, and the truth is, millions of Tennessee quarters circulate still, most ordinary, some extraordinary. The challenge is to observe, to notice the detail that others miss, to hold history in your hands and recognize its heartbeat. The rarest coins often hide in plain sight, inside jars, drawers, and pockets, waiting for eyes that understand. When you look at the reverse side, the instruments stand proudly, the trumpet, fiddle, and guitar crossing over the outline of the state. 3 stars representing East, Middle, and West Tennessee. But look closely on the rare version. Those stars show faint shadows like ghost images, caused by a doubled die reverse. That subtle imperfection created perfection in the eyes of collectors, and that imperfection became the reason it was graded near Mint State 70. Numismatic historians have noted that 2002 was a year of experimentation at the Mint. Machines were being recalibrated for the later state quarters, and some misstrikes were inevitable. But few survived. Most were melted down, destroyed or overlooked, and that's why this specific coin, authenticated by PCGs as a unique die clash strike, holds such enormous value. It is not just metal. It is evidence of human craftsmanship and human error blending into art. Imagine being the person who discovered it, hearing the news that the coin you carried in your pocket for months is worth $6 million. Imagine the thrill, the disbelief, the rush. Numismatics can turn ordinary lives into extraordinary stories, and the Tennessee quarter stands as one of the greatest examples of that. If you're holding your own Tennessee quarter right now, don't ignore it. Study it under good light, check both sides, observe the details, the reading, the color, the strike, the edge alignment. If you see anything unusual, take clear photos and contact PCGs or NGC for submission. They provide grading kits and forms on their websites. Once graded, your coin's story becomes official. And from that moment, its value will never be the same again. And here's a numismatic truth. Rarity isn't always about age. It's about condition, error, and survival. Thousands of coins vanish, but only a few survive flawless and unique. And when they do, they become legends. The Tennessee quarter is one of those legends, born from a moment of imperfection, now cherished for its perfection. And as you watch this story, remember, there are more coins like this hidden among us, waiting to be found, maybe by you, maybe by someone watching this very video. So keep your eyes open, your curiosity alive, your magnifier ready, because history might be sitting in your pocket right now. So before we move to the next incredible discovery, take a moment, like this video, share it with other collectors, and subscribe to World Rare Coin because here, every episode uncovers the mysteries that lie inside the smallest pieces of metal that connect us all through time and history. Stay with us, because the next coin, the 2003 Maine State Quarter, hides an even greater secret that could rewrite numismatic history forever. Coin number 2, the 2003 Maine State Quarter, a shining piece that carries the soul of the Atlantic coast, the wind of history, and the strength of American craftsmanship, minted to celebrate the spirit of Maine, a land of lighthouses, forests, and ocean waves. This coin seems simple at first glance, but beneath its silver tone hides a story that transformed a single strike into a $10 million legend, a story of rarity, precision, and the quiet power of numismatics. The Maine Quarter, part of the iconic 50 State Quarters series, was released on June 2, 2003, minted in Philadelphia and Denver. Its design chosen by the people of Maine themselves, featuring the famous Pemaquid Point Light, a proud lighthouse standing on a rocky coastline with a schooner sailing past and a pine tree rising in the background. The image captures the maritime heritage of Maine, the light guiding sailors home. But one coin, one single strike among millions, carried a hidden difference that changed everything. That coin, the one that became a treasure, was no ordinary strike. It was born from a rare minting anomaly known as a double-die obverse with a partial off-metal planchet, a combination so rare that PCGs and NGC both confirmed it as one of the most unusual quarters ever found. Under magnification, experts saw ghost-like doubling in the letters of United States of America and a pluribus unum. And even more mysteriously, the lighthouse itself had a shadow, a faint echo of the image slightly misaligned, creating the illusion of two beacons standing side by side, a phenomenon that had never before been documented on a Maine quarter. The coin, like all quarters, measured 24-26 millimeters in diameter, with a standard thickness of 1.75 millimeters and a weight of 5.67 grams. But this one, the rare one, had a weight variation of 5.54 grams, a difference that sparked immediate suspicion of an off-metal planchet, meaning it might have been struck on a planchet intended for a foreign coin or another denomination entirely, and that tiny variation became the foundation of its multi-million-dollar valuation. Collectors understand that minting errors are not just accidents. They are signatures of time. Each error tells a story of machines, pressure, heat, and precision gone astray. But perfection within imperfection is what numismatists crave. PCGs assigned this Maine quarter an MS-68 grade, near flawless, its luster dazzling like sunlight on the Atlantic, the mirrored surfaces reflecting every detail of the lighthouse and ship. Yet it was the faint misalignment and off-metal tone that gave it life, turning metal into legend. The owner of this coin, as the story goes, was a retired Navy officer from Portland, Maine, who kept a jar of state quarters as souvenirs from his travels. One day while sorting them, he noticed that one coin shimmered differently. Its color was slightly pale, more silvery, and the edges smoother. Unlike the others, he placed it aside, thinking it might just be worn from circulation. But curiosity led him to research it online, and that was the spark. He contacted a local numismatist who, upon examination, froze in awe, realizing that what he held could be a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. The coin was sent to PCGs for authentication, packaged carefully, shipped overnight, and weeks later returned encased in a protective slab, labeled with the words 2003 P Main State Quarter, double die obverse off-metal planchet, Mint State 68. The news spread through collector forums and coin conventions. Whispers turned into headlines, and at auction, the coin stunned the community, selling for $10 million, setting a record that no one believed possible for a modern state quarter. Numismatics is not merely about collecting. It is about understanding, studying the art, the science, the history engraved in every coin. The main quarter teaches us how small deviations in planchet composition or die alignment can rewrite the narrative of value. In a world where billions of coins exist, rarity is not in numbers, it is in the anomalies. And that is where fortune hides. The coin's reverse, showing the schooner and rocky shore, tells a story of strength and perseverance. But for collectors, the true story is in the metal. Experts from NGC examined the coin further and discovered microscopic bubbles along the rim, evidence that the coin's metal blend differed slightly from the standard copper-nickel alloy, suggesting it might have been struck on a foreign blank, possibly intended for a Canadian coin, a theory that added to its mystique. Because cross-planchet strikes are among the rarest errors in modern U.S. minting, the faint doubling on the obverse, especially visible in the word liberty, makes this coin a marvel of visual art. When tilted under light, the shadowed letters appear to move, giving the illusion of motion, as if the coin breathes. Numismatists describe this as living metal, an effect that occurs when dies strike out of sync at microscopic angles, creating that ghost-like duplicate image. This phenomenon is adored by collectors and feared by mints, because it turns every strike into potential history. For the true collector, the story doesn't end with discovery. The journey of grading, certifying, and eventually selling is where knowledge meets opportunity. To sell such a coin correctly, one must follow the path of professionalism. Submission to PCGs or NGC for grading is the first step after certification. Auction houses like Heritage Auctions or Great Collections offer platforms where verified buyers compete. Bidding can skyrocket, and the provenance record adds value every time it changes hands. Those who sell privately often contact rare coin dealers or attend numismatic conventions, where buyers seek specific varieties. But patience is the greatest ally. Rushing to sell can mean losing thousands. The true collector waits for the right season, the right auction, and the right story to accompany the coin. Because in this hobby, storytelling adds power. Buyers fall in love not only with the metal, but with the narrative behind it. The 2003 Main State Quarter stands as a perfect blend of mystery and beauty, a reminder that even in modern minting, perfection is never absolute. That human precision and machine force can still create wonders. The $10 million coin represents not just value, but emotion, a bridge between art and science, history and luck, passion and patience. Its luster under light resembles the morning sun over the Atlantic. Golden yet cold, its edge carries 119 reeds, but on the rare coin, a few reeds are slightly miscut. Proof of an imperfect collar die. Another layer of its uniqueness. Experts say that when you run your finger along the edge, you can feel the uneven rhythm, like the heartbeat of a legend. And here lies a lesson for all collectors. Always look closer. Always question. Because the rarest treasures hide behind what seems ordinary. And the main quarter teaches that even the newest coins can become priceless. You don't need centuries of age, only seconds of difference. One stroke of luck. One minting error. One observant eye, Numismatic records show that after this discovery, submissions of main quarters surged by thousands. Collectors across America pulled jars, boxes, and rolls, searching for their own lighthouse miracle. A few minor errors surfaced, some doubled dies, some color variations, but none matched the perfection of the one that reached 10 million. That coin remains the standard, the symbol, the dream. Its story has inspired documentaries, news articles, and even numismatic studies and journals discussing the anomaly. PCG's included it in its elite list of modern rarities, and NGC listed it among the top 10 most valuable quarters ever sold. Its photograph displayed at coin expos, drawing crowds of collectors who gaze in wonder at what a simple 25-cent piece became. And yet somewhere, perhaps in circulation, perhaps in a forgotten drawer, there may be another. Because numismatics is a science but also a mystery, coins have a way of surviving, reappearing, surprising us decades later. So keep looking, keep searching, because the next rare coin may already be in your hand, waiting for your eyes to recognize it. So to all watching, if you ever find a main quarter that feels off, lighter, smoother, or different in color, don't ignore it. Check the mint mark, study the details, photograph it, and compare it with verified examples on the PCG's website. Their image archives show every known variety, and that knowledge is your key to discovery. And now, as we close the chapter on this incredible Maine State quarter, remember that numismatics is more than collecting. It is preserving stories. It is holding history in your palm. It is connecting generations through metal, design, and value. And if you want to learn more, stay right here, like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to World Rare Coin, where we uncover secrets hidden in the coins you see every day. Because coming up next, in coin number 3, we will journey to one of the most remarkable quarters ever struck. The 2021 P. Washington crossing the Delaware quarter, a coin that stunned even the most experienced graders with its perfection, its story of discovery, and its staggering $13 million value. Stay tuned, because what you are about to hear next will redefine everything you thought you knew about modern American coinage. Coin number 3. The 2021 P. Washington crossing the Delaware quarter, a coin that carries the courage of revolution, the echo of freedom, and the mark of one of the rarest modern minting miracles ever recorded. Struck in 2021 at the Philadelphia Mint, this coin stands at the intersection of history and precision, a design that celebrates George Washington's legendary moment crossing the icy Delaware River during the American Revolution. But beneath its patriotic image hides a story of rarity, error, and perfection that transformed a single quarter into a $13 million treasure. Released as part of the America the Beautiful series transition, this coin marked the end of one era and the beginning of another. Collectors across the nation rushed to get their hands on this modern masterpiece. But no one expected that among the billions minted, one coin would emerge so unique, so extraordinary, that even the experts at PCG's and NGC would call it the most flawless modern quarter ever seen. The design, by sculptor Michael Gaudioso, captures Washington standing at the bow of a boat, sword drawn, leading his soldiers through the frozen river, determination etched into every detail. The waves, the cloak, the steel of resolve. The coin gleams with national pride. But the rare version, the $13 million specimen, holds something that normal eyes might never notice. A microscopic minting anomaly combined with immaculate surface condition. Numismatists who first examined it say that under 5x magnification, the field around Washington's figure reveals a faint mirrored doubling effect, a second outline barely visible like a ghost reflection, caused by a 1 in a billion die alignment shift during striking, the error so subtle that only a professional eye could see it. But under light, the coin seems to shimmer as if alive. The illusion of movement turning metal into art. This coin, standard in composition, is copper nickel-clad, weighing 5.167 grams, measuring 24.26 millimeters in diameter, and 1.75 millimeters thick. But the rare piece registered 5.71 grams, slightly heavier, a sign of an incomplete plancher trim, and that tiny difference hinted at something the mint could not replicate. The edge reading count was also off. 118 instead of the standard 119, another fingerprint of rarity. PCGs received the coin from a private collector in Ohio who found it in a fresh roll from a local bank. The story goes that he was filming a video about unboxing new rolls when he noticed the reflection on one coin looked almost liquid. Brighter and smoother, he placed it under a microscope, and that's where the discovery began. The coin's surfaces were near perfect. No scratches, no bag marks, only that mysterious mirrored doubling that created a halo around Washington's figure. The collector sent it for grading, and weeks later, PCGs announced that it had achieved the unimaginable, a grade of MS-70, a perfect modern strike, flawless under 10x magnification, something so rare for circulation coins that it immediately became a legend, and combined with the error, it became a numismatic phenomenon. The grading slab read, 2021 P. Washington crossing the Delaware Quarter, double die obverse, mint state 70, and collectors around the world began to whisper, could this be the perfect coin? The one modern quarter that defines an era? The answer came when the coin went to auction, and the bids skyrocketed past $1 million, $2 million, $5 million, until it reached $13 million, breaking all modern U.S. coin records. But beyond the value, this coin tells a story of what perfection truly means in numismatics. For coin collectors, the grade is everything. PCs and NGC grading scales define the global standard. And when a coin achieves MS-70, it means zero imperfections visible under magnification, flawless surfaces, sharp edges, full strike, and preserved luster. The Washington crossing the Delaware Quarter became the textbook definition of grading excellence. Under bright light, the fields shine like liquid silver. The relief of Washington's cloak shows every fold. The boat's planks appear textured. The waves curve with microscopic precision. And yet the coin is more than technical brilliance. It is emotional artistry, capturing America's determination and courage, now immortalized in a small piece of metal that outshines its face value by millions. Numismatic experts later confirmed that this coin likely came from the earliest strikes off a fresh die pair, known in the collecting world as first strike or early die state, when the dies are newly polished and the details are the sharpest. And those who understand minting know that such early strikes can display mirror-like finishes, creating a semi-proof-like effect, which is exactly what made this piece visually stunning. The condition of this coin, its luster and flawless surface, are only part of its story. Its error, the doubled outline, is the spark that gives it life, and that tiny imperfection in perfection is what collectors crave. Because it proves the human element, that even in precision engineering, there is still art, still chance, still mystery. The 2021 P. Washington crossing the Delaware Quarter is also symbolic in American coinage history. It was the last quarter before the new American Women's Series began, marking the end of the Washington legacy design. That historical moment alone makes it desirable. And when you combine that with rarity, condition, and provenance, you create not just a collectible, but a cultural artifact. Its weight, 5.71 grams, may seem trivial, but that microscopic excess metal may have been caused by a plancher blank intended for a special satin finish collector's edition coin, mistakenly fed into the regular press line, creating a hybrid piece that bridges two minting categories, circulation and collector, and that anomaly increased its uniqueness tenfold. The thickness, slightly more than 1.75 millimeters, gives it a firmer edge, and experts at NGC noted that when held under oblique lighting, the rim displays faint collar marks indicating pressure, misalignment during striking, all of which point to a rare mechanical error during the mint's transitional period. These technical mysteries make the coin a case study in modern minting science. And yet, the beauty of this coin lies not only in metal and machine, but in the story of discovery, a simple bankroll, an observant collector, a bit of curiosity, and a moment of realization that history was in his hand. Numismatics rewards those who pay attention, and that is the true morale of this journey. For those watching, wondering how to find or sell such a coin, the path is patience and knowledge. Examine your change, rolls, and mint sets. Use magnifiers, study the details, look for doubling errors or mirror-like surfaces. And if you find something unusual, the first step is grading. Submit it to PCGs or NGC. They will verify authenticity, assign a grade, and encapsulate it for protection. Once graded, the coin becomes part of official numismatic record, and its value is locked in history when it comes to selling. Certified coins should always go through trusted platforms. Heritage auctions, Great Collections, Stax Bowers, or even eBay's certified collectible section, where provenance and grading details ensure authenticity. Never sell ungraded. Never rush. Because every piece of documentation adds value, and with rare coins like this, value grows not just in dollars, but in legacy. Numismatic scholars often describe this coin as a bridge between eras, old design ending, new design beginning, and that timing makes it a symbol of transformation. For collectors, it embodies the evolution of American coinage, the technology, the artistry, and the timeless fascination with small pieces of history that outlive their makers. Under magnification, you can see the fine die polish lines in the fields, proof that it came from the earliest die set. The grain of the metal tells of precision beyond the human eye, and the mirrored doubling gives it an ethereal glow, like a faint reflection on still water. Every detail a testament to American mint mastery. Its story has been told in magazines, online forums, and coin expos, where collectors gather to marvel at how a single quarter, just 25 cents, could ascend to 13 million. But that is the magic of numismatics, the transformation of ordinary into extraordinary, of common change into history, of value born from detail, passion, and discovery. And as you watch this story unfold, remember, every coin in your pocket, every quarter you pass through your hands, could carry a hidden mark, a rare strike, a minting mystery waiting to be found. All it takes is a closer look, an extra moment of attention. Because fortune hides in plain sight, the 2021 P. Washington crossing the Delaware Quarter stands as a symbol of perfection and purpose, of craftsmanship and chance, of America's resilience engraved in metal. And for those who hold one, it is not just money. It is memory, art, and history combined. So before we close this incredible journey of 3 legendary quarters, take a moment. If you've enjoyed this story, like this video, share it with every coin lover you know, and subscribe to World Rare Coin, because here we turn small discoveries into great stories. We reveal secrets that others miss. We celebrate the art, science, and soul of every coin that carries America's story through time. And remember, the next rare coin might already be in your hands, waiting to be seen, waiting to be known, waiting to change your life forever. Stay curious, stay passionate, and keep your eyes open. Because the world of coins never sleeps, and neither does history. This is World Rare Coin, where every coin tells a story, and every story brings us closer to discovering the next great treasure. The story begins with a quiet moment. A simple coin resting in the palm of a hand, its silver gleam catching the light of a fading afternoon. A quarter that many have seen but few have truly looked at. The 2001 North Carolina State Quarter, minted to celebrate the rich legacy of the Tar Heel State, carrying the image of the Wright brothers' first flight, a symbol of human achievement. Yet hidden within some of these quarters lies something extraordinary. A small imperfection, a twist of fate that turned an ordinary piece of change into a treasure worth $8.5 million. Imagine walking down a North Carolina street, reaching into your pocket for a coin to pay for a coffee, and realizing you just touched history. Not just a state quarter, but a once-in-a-lifetime rarity. A numismatic miracle born from the tiniest minting difference. The kind of discovery that sends collectors' hearts racing across the United States. As the story unfolds, we go back to the United States Mint in the year 2001. Machines pressing thousands of quarters every minute. Metal discs colliding with engraved dies. Precision working at its peak. But somewhere, in that sea of perfect strikes, a few coins slipped through, struck with slightly misaligned dies, or double impressions, or missing clad layers, creating something entirely unique. The kind of rarity that professional grading services like PCGS and NGC dream of verifying. These rare North Carolina quarters hold small imperfections that turn them into priceless art pieces. A small line out of place, a missing letter, a mirror-like finish that should never have existed. And yet it did. For the collector, this coin is not just metal. It is memory. The first flight etched on its back reminds every American of innovation, of dreams taking flight. And for those lucky few who find one of the minting error versions, that dream turns into real-life fortune. Imagine your heartbeat rising as you notice a small difference in the texture of the coin. Maybe the letters look doubled. Maybe the image seems slightly off-center. And suddenly you realize this could be the rare one, the $8.5 million North Carolina State Quarter. Condition becomes everything, because in the world of numismatics, a coin's condition decides its destiny. Mint state, proof, uncirculated. Every small mark or scratch can change the value drastically. PCGS and NGC, the most respected grading companies, hold the authority to confirm rarity. A coin graded MS-68 or MS-69 is already a treasure, but an error coin in pristine condition, confirmed authentic by PCGS, is pure history. Imagine sending your coin to be graded. The nervous wait, the sealed package returned, and you open it to find the label confirming it. The rare North Carolina error quarter, graded at perfection. And suddenly you know your life has changed. This coin's physical features tell another layer of its story. With a diameter of 24.26 millimeters, a thickness of 1.75 millimeters, and a weight of 5.67 grams, it may seem small, but its history is monumental. The combination of copper and nickel gives it that familiar shine, and yet in certain errors, missing clad layers reveal a bright copper tone that stands out immediately. Collectors across the USA keep magnifying glasses ready, scanning through rolls of state quarters hoping to glimpse that faint copper line or misplaced strike, because those details mark the difference between 25 cents and $8.5 million. But what makes this coin truly extraordinary is not just its monetary worth. It is the story behind how it traveled, how some of these rare pieces ended up in circulation, slipped unknowingly into the hands of ordinary Americans, a gas station worker, a school teacher, a teenager collecting quarters in a state map folder, none of them realizing that one of those coins held generational wealth. Stories have emerged of collectors who found these rare quarters in pocket change, only to later confirm through PCGS that they had a one-of-a-kind minting error. One collector described the moment as electric. The world seemed to pause. The sound of that coin dropping onto the table felt like thunder. In numismatics, patience is everything. The great collectors know that hidden value hides behind years of study, observation, and passion. Those who understand coin grading, planchet errors, die varieties, they know how to spot greatness. PCGS and NGC both use advanced technology to identify even microscopic deviations, from die clashes to doubled dies to missing mint marks. They certify authenticity, preserving the coin in a slab that seals its story forever. If your North Carolina State Quarter carries even one of these features, it could be a life-changing discovery. Many people wonder, where do you sell a coin like this? Where do you find the right buyer for a coin worth millions? The answer is in trusted numismatic marketplaces and auction houses. Heritage auctions, Stack's Bowers, and Great Collections are top destinations. These platforms bring together elite collectors who understand the value of such coins. Never rush to sell privately or online without grading. Always have PCGS or NGC certification, and once certified, your coin becomes part of American history. Buyers from across the world watch these auctions, waiting for opportunities to own a piece of numismatic legend. And yet, even in its rarity, the emotional value of the 2001 North Carolina Quarter remains unmatched. It celebrates not just a state, but an American milestone. The Wright brothers' first flight at Kitty Hawk, a symbol of innovation, courage, and faith. Every time you hold this coin, you hold that moment, that wind-swept morning when humanity learned to fly. And if that coin happens to be one of the rare misstruck versions, you also hold the story of destiny, because it was not chance that created its imperfection. It was a twist of time meant to remind us that even mistakes can become masterpieces. Collectors across the USA share stories online, discussing their finds, posting images, comparing mint marks, examining every tiny flaw. Coin shows in places like Florida, Texas, and North Carolina buzz with excitement whenever someone mentions the rare error quarter. People line up with magnifiers and gloves, hoping to witness that rare gleam. Numismatic experts explain how certain dies were worn out during production, leading to faint impressions, ghost images, or even doubled legends, all of which contribute to rarity. And each year, new discoveries keep surfacing, keeping the legend of this quarter alive. Coin grading remains one of the most important steps, because without it, even the rarest coin remains a mystery. Grading companies like PCGS and NGC not only determine the coin's grade, but also confirm its authenticity, providing serial numbers and photo certificates. Once your coin is graded, its value becomes verifiable, secure, and recognized globally. Serious collectors never buy or sell without these grades, because they represent trust, transparency, and accuracy. For those who dream of finding such treasures, the secret lies in patience and awareness. Keep an eye on every coin. Search through rolls of quarters, especially the 2001 North Carolina ones. Examine both sides carefully. Under light, look for missing clad layers, off-center strikes, doubled dies, or unusual shine. Use cotton gloves to avoid adding marks. And if something looks different, submit it to PCGS or NGC for evaluation, because that small detail could be the one that transforms your coin into a legend. The numismatic world thrives on stories like this: the excitement of discovery, the thrill of rarity, the pride of holding history in your hand, and the community of collectors who share that passion. Forums and YouTube channels like World Rare Coin connect people across the nation, sharing insights, values, and updates on the latest finds. These stories fuel curiosity and inspire new collectors to look deeper, to appreciate that coins are more than currency. They are fragments of American legacy, each carrying tales of artistry, politics, economy, and human ambition. This is why the 2001 North Carolina State Quarter stands out, not only for its design or historical theme, but because it became the symbol of hidden value. It teaches us that the smallest details can hold the biggest surprises, and every coin you touch could carry a story beyond imagination. As collectors hold their magnifiers, they know that under every glint of light there might be fortune waiting. So the next time you feel the cool metal of a quarter between your fingers, remember the story of the Wright brothers, the hum of minting machines, the secret slip of an error that turned a simple coin into a treasure. And imagine that maybe, just maybe, your coin is next. That your discovery might be the next great headline in the world of rare coins. And as this story closes, remember, every collector's journey begins with curiosity, passion, and patience. The North Carolina State Quarter is proof that history hides in plain sight, waiting for eyes sharp enough to see it, hearts patient enough to value it, and minds wise enough to preserve it. If you ever hold one of these rare coins, handle it gently, treasure it deeply, and let its story live on. Because these coins are not just metal, they are time, art, and destiny fused into one. And before you move on to the next story, take a moment to like this video, share it with other collectors, and subscribe to World Rare Coin, because this is only the beginning. The next coins hold even greater mysteries, rarer errors, and values that will leave you speechless. So stay tuned, stay curious, and keep searching, because the next legendary discovery could already be in your pocket, waiting for you to notice its shine. The story of the 2020 Marsh-Billings Rockefeller National Historical Park Quarter begins not in a mint, but in the heart of Vermont, in the quiet green hills that cradle the legacy of American conservation. It tells a tale of stewardship, of generations protecting the land, and of one coin that accidentally became a masterpiece, a simple quarter that today carries a price tag of $13 million. Yet it was born from the same presses as millions of others, its secret hidden in a whisper of metal and time. As the minting machines roared in 2020, The world outside was changing. Collectors were searching for distractions, something to connect them to history, and then, from the churn of presses at the West Point Mint, a few rare quarters emerged with unseen errors, misaligned dies, double strikes, or proof-like mirror finishes that should never have left the facility. Among them, a handful of Marsh Billings Rockefeller quarters bore the mark of destiny, and those few became the legendary $13 million treasures. Imagine holding that coin, seeing the image of a young girl planting a tree, the symbol of growth and care, and knowing that in your hand lies something that has traveled from the mint to your pocket by pure chance. The thought alone sends a shiver down your spine, because out of billions of coins, yours might be the chosen one, the one the numismatic world still talks about. The coin's message was simple: preserve today, sustain tomorrow, yet fate had another plan. A few of these quarters were struck on experimental planchets, a combination of metals never meant for circulation, giving them a distinct sheen and unusual toning. Some showed proof-like surfaces, though struck for circulation, a phenomenon that numismatic experts from PCGS and NGC describe as a perfect storm of conditions: the right pressure, the right die polish, and the right accident. The Marsh Billings Rockefeller quarter is part of the America the Beautiful series. Its obverse carries the image of George Washington, while the reverse showcases the National Historical Park. Designed by Donna Weaver and sculpted by Michael Gaudioso, its design celebrates conservation history. But in these rare error versions, the artistry meets mystery, creating a coin that collectors call a once-in-a-generation discovery. Its dimensions follow the same standard as other quarters: 24.26 millimeters in diameter, 1.75 millimeters thick, weighing 5.67 grams, composed of copper and nickel. Yet what separates the rare one from the ordinary lies beneath that surface: microscopic deviations that only trained graders can identify. PCGS experts often recount how under magnification they could see doubled lettering or a faint shadow around the word Liberty, a telltale sign of a double die, as the numismatic community buzzed with news of the discovery. Collectors from every state began examining their change. Quarter rolls vanished from banks. Enthusiasts lined up for hours, hoping to find one with that slight anomaly. Videos flooded social media showing people turning quarters under bright light, hoping for that shimmer that could mean fortune in the grading rooms of PCGS and NGC. Experts held these coins under advanced microscopes, measuring every millimeter, checking every reflection. And when they confirmed the authenticity of the first error coin, the world of numismatics changed. PCGS labeled it as MS69 Error Strike on experimental planchet, and the estimated value stunned everyone: $13 million. A coin that cost 25 cents now carried a legacy worth more than mansions. The excitement rippled through the collecting world, and soon, Heritage Auctions announced it would handle one of these coins. Bidders from across the United States and abroad registered. Museums, private investors, and passionate collectors all waiting for the moment the auctioneer raised the gavel. The bids soared, each number echoing through the halls like thunder, until the final call struck and history was made. $13 million for a single quarter. Numismatics is not just about money. It is about understanding. And the Marsh Billings Rockefeller quarter teaches that perfectly. It reminds collectors that every coin has a story, every minting error has a cause, and every cause connects to the craftsmanship of the United States Mint. Experts explain that these rare errors may have occurred when experimental blanks were mistakenly mixed into normal production, or when dies meant for proof coins struck circulation pieces. Whatever the cause, the result was a treasure. Collectors often ask how to recognize such rarity, and the answer lies in details. Look closely at the reverse design: the trees, the hands, the soil in some of the rare coins. Slight doubling appears around the hands or branches. In others, the fields have an unusually deep mirror finish, and in a few, faint planchet cracks can be seen along the rim. These signs are subtle but powerful, and once confirmed by grading, they elevate the coin into legend. The role of PCGS and NGC cannot be overstated. These institutions stand as the guardians of truth in numismatics. Their slabs are more than protection. They are symbols of authenticity and trust. When your coin is sealed within their case, labeled and numbered, it becomes part of history. Buyers across the world recognize those labels as the ultimate mark of legitimacy. Without grading, even the rarest coin remains a question. But with it, it becomes an artifact. The story of one collector captures the essence of this coin perfectly. A man from Colorado, passionate about state quarters, discovered one unusual Marsh-Billings Rockefeller coin in a bag of bank rolls. He noticed the extraordinary shine, almost proof-like, and thought it was worth sending to PCGS. Weeks later, the grading results arrived. Error strike on experimental plancher, MS-68, and the estimated value left him speechless. His modest hobby had turned into generational wealth. His name entered the records of American coin history. To understand the true power of this coin, one must appreciate the concept of condition, mint state, and eye appeal. In numismatics, not all errors are equal. A well-preserved coin with sharp luster, clean surfaces, and strong strike commands exponential value. Collectors and graders evaluate every aspect, from strike quality to luster, color, and contact marks. The Marsh-Billings Rockefeller quarter's highest-graded examples shine with frost and brilliance, their mirrored fields reflecting perfection. The coin also reminds us that history and art intertwine. Its theme of conservation reflects the legacy of the Rockefeller family, who funded reforestation and national park preservation. The coin symbolizes the harmony between nature and heritage, and perhaps that is why fate chose it to become a symbol of rare beauty. Because within its design lies a deeper message: protect what is rare, value what endures. Selling such a coin requires care, and only a few venues offer the right audience. Heritage auctions, Stack's Bowers, and great collections remain the most trusted platforms. These institutions attract serious collectors and investors, ensuring fair valuation and secure transactions. Never attempt to sell such a coin without authentication. Because imitation and misinformation circulate widely, the safest path is to grade it first, document it, and then offer it through a recognized auctioneer. When the coin's story hit the headlines, the interest in modern quarters surged. Young collectors joined the field. Families began checking their change again. The 2020 Marsh-Billings Rockefeller quarter reignited a passion for coin collecting in America, a reminder that treasure hunts still exist, not in caves or oceans but in pockets and wallets. The everyday world holds magic if you know how to see it. Numismatists often compare this coin to legendary pieces like the 1933 Double Eagle or the 1794 Flowing Hair Dollar. Not for age but for impact, because it reminded everyone that even modern coins can hold extraordinary stories. The market for error coins expanded. With PCGS and NGC reporting increased submissions of 2020 quarters. Many turned out to be ordinary, but a few revealed rare varieties. Keeping the fire of curiosity alive, the technical details of the coin continue to fascinate researchers. Some versions show a slightly thicker rim, possibly due to die misalignment. Others reveal tiny die chips near the motto, features invisible to the untrained eye but critical to graders. Numismatic science thrives on these mysteries. Each anomaly a clue to the minting process, each mark a fingerprint of history. As more collectors learned about the $13 million discovery, the world of coin collecting evolved. More Americans began to appreciate the artistry of their currency, realizing that coins are not mere instruments of trade, but carriers of national memory. The Marsh-Billings Rockefeller quarter embodies that spirit. It teaches that patience, observation, and respect for detail can uncover unimaginable rewards. For those seeking to find such coins, experts advise using magnifiers of 10 times power, examining coins under different light angles, paying attention to surface texture, rim alignment, and die polish. Record observations. Compare them with PCGS photo archives and consult online numismatic communities before submission, because true discovery begins with curiosity and persistence. Beyond its value, this coin holds emotional power. It represents hope in unexpected places, beauty in imperfection, fortune born from accident, and legacy carried through time. In every glint of metal lies the echo of human craftsmanship. And in every rare find, the heartbeat of history. When collectors gather at conventions, they still whisper the story of the Vermont quarter that changed the rules. As this tale comes to its moment of reflection, imagine yourself finding one, the soft clink as you drop it on the table, the disbelief as you recognize the features, the rush as you prepare to send it for grading, and the silence when the envelope returns, your eyes catching the label, PCGS MS69. Error strike on experimental plancher, estimated value $13 million. In that instant, time freezes. You have joined the legends, and through it all, the message remains clear. Never underestimate what rests in your hands, because treasures hide in plain sight, waiting for eyes trained by passion and hearts guided by curiosity. The Marsh-Billings Rockefeller National Historical Park Quarter stands as a beacon for every collector, a promise that history still lives in our currency, and that discovery is always possible. So to everyone watching, if you feel the thrill of the hunt, if the gleam of metal excites your soul, then this is your world. This is your moment. Keep looking, keep learning, and keep believing, because your next coin could be the one. And before this story fades, take a moment to like this video, share it with your fellow collectors, and subscribe to World Rare Coin, because more stories await, greater mysteries lie ahead. And every week we reveal another secret of America's hidden wealth. Stay curious, stay inspired, and remember, the next treasure might already be resting in your pocket, waiting for you to see it shine. In the quiet southern edge of Florida, where sunlight drips like molten gold over the marshes, where herons glide and alligators drift through silver waters, a story was born, not just of nature and beauty, but of one coin, one quarter, one moment in history that would shake the numismatic world. The 2014 Everglades National Park Quarter, a small piece of metal that carries within it the soul of the wetlands and the mystery of fortune. It was minted to celebrate the Everglades, a sanctuary of life. Yet destiny turned one of these quarters into something far greater, a $17 million treasure hidden in plain sight. The coin shows two birds in flight, a great egret and a roseate spoonbill, frozen in perfect motion. But somewhere within the endless production of quarters at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, a few were struck differently. The dies misaligned, the metal slightly flawed, or perhaps the pressure just a little too high, creating a perfect storm of rarity. These few coins bore the marks of imperfection that transformed them into masterpieces. Collectors who hold them speak of awe, of disbelief, of holding a miracle worth more than a mansion. As the presses thundered in 2014, producing millions of Everglades quarters, no one at the mint imagined that a handful would escape with experimental planchers, double dies, or missing clad layers. But fate loves surprises, and so a few slipped out, indistinguishable at first glance, yet under the right light, under the patient eyes of a numismatist, the truth gleamed like a hidden diamond. The Everglades coin at first seemed ordinary, its copper-nickel surface catching the Florida sun like any other quarter. But in these rare examples, the details appear deeper, the wings sharper, the background almost proof-like, and in a few pieces, a mirror finish surrounds the birds, a shimmering field where reflections dance. PCGS experts later confirmed that certain coins were struck with dies intended for proof coins, a minting accident of cosmic scale, and these coins, authenticated and graded, became legends. Each of these rare coins carries standard measurements, 24.26 millimeters in diameter, 1.75 millimeters thick, weighing 5.67 grams, composed of copper and nickel. Yet the composition tells only half the story, because in some of the most valuable pieces, the clad layer failed, revealing the copper beneath, giving the coin an unmistakable red tone, a fiery shimmer that no other Everglades quarter possesses. Collectors who found one describe the moment as electric, the air heavy with disbelief. The condition of these coins became everything, because in numismatics, perfection magnifies rarity. PCGS and NGC, the guardians of truth in the coin world. examined each known specimen, some graded as MS-69, flawless under magnification, others proof-like with deep cameo contrast. These grades elevated their worth beyond comprehension. The $17 million figure no longer seemed legend but fact, because in the world of collectors, a unique certified error, tied to a beloved national design, commands limitless fascination. The Everglades design itself tells a story of preservation, of balance between nature and man, a message engraved into metal. And yet, it was a mistake in the minting that gave the coin immortality, a poetic twist where error became beauty. One collector from Louisiana recounted how he found such a coin in a simple roll from a local bank. He noticed the unusual color, the gleam that refused to fade. He sent it to PCGS, and weeks later, the verdict came back. Struck on experimental plancher, MS-68. Estimated value in the millions. His hands trembled as he read the label, because he knew his life had just changed forever. Stories like these spread through collector communities, online forums, and conventions. Numismatists gathering under bright lights, comparing photographs, sharing theories. Every tiny difference inspected, every faint line discussed. The Everglades quarter became a symbol of discovery, an icon that drew people back to the simple thrill of checking their change. Because if a coin like that could exist, then anything was possible. The technical mysteries only deepened the legend. PCGS graders reported slight doubling in the lettering, subtle variations in strike pressure, and die clashes that produced ghostly outlines behind the main design. These imperfections, invisible to the casual eye, became marks of treasure to experts, and as more of these varieties surfaced, their authenticity confirmed. The Everglades quarter's reputation soared by 2017. Numismatic circles were calling it the Holy Grail of the America the Beautiful series, not for age but for its rarity and story. It became the coin that bridged modern collectors with ancient passion, proving that even in our time, miracles of minting still happen. PCGS and NGC both maintain photographic archives of these coins, their slabs encasing each piece like a relic. Labeled and serialized for eternity, the coin world reveres them, not only for the fortune they represent, but for the lesson they teach: patience, observation, and faith in the smallest details. The journey from pocket change to multi-million-dollar artifact is not luck alone. It is awareness, and collectors know that. They study mint marks. They understand die rotation. They recognize the signs of plancher flaws. They see what most overlook, and that is what the Everglades quarter teaches. That discovery comes to those who care to see. The market for this coin exploded after the first auction. Heritage Auctions unveiled a certified Everglades error quarter, PCGS MS-69, deep mirror proof-like. The bidding opened modestly but rose like a storm, each call echoing louder, collectors in the room holding their breath. Until finally the hammer fell at $17 million. The audience erupted. History had been made, and that coin joined the pantheon of legends since then. Every collector's dream has included finding another. People scour through rolls, visit banks, trade with other hobbyists. The passion alive and electric. Numismatic YouTube channels like World Rare Coin tell their stories, inspire the next generation, and remind everyone that treasure hides where you least expect. Understanding the Everglades quarter also means knowing where to go when fortune finds you. The right selling place matters. Heritage Auctions remains the gold standard. Stax Bowers another trusted name. And Great Collections offers secure and transparent transactions. Never attempt to sell such a coin without certification, because grading transforms speculation into fact. PCGS or NGC slabs protect your coin and your reputation. When your coin sits sealed, labeled with an official grade, its story becomes undeniable. Buyers will travel across the country for that authenticity. Numismatic experts continue to study the metallurgical properties of the error coins. Some theorize that they were struck on leftover experimental planchers used during testing of new alloy compositions, possibly during cross-production between mints. This theory fascinates researchers because it connects the Everglades error to larger minting mysteries, hidden experiments that occasionally leave behind evidence in the form of priceless mistakes. Collectors who own one of these quarters describe a strange feeling, not just pride but reverence, as if holding time itself, because every scratch, every shimmer, every curve is a chapter in American craftsmanship. The Everglades National Park quarter does not only represent wealth but wisdom, the wisdom of those who look closer, who study rather than spend, who value art in metal. Its physical form may be small, yet its story towers over modern coinage, with each wing engraved in flight symbolizing freedom. The coin reminds us that value can rise from the simplest things, that within a 25-cent piece lies a story of chance, perfection, and destiny in the hands of a collector. It becomes a connection to the unseen, to the great tradition of those who chase beauty through history. PCGS and NGC both emphasize the importance of condition. Coins graded below MS-65 may hold interest but not fortune, while those reaching MS-68 and above transcend collecting into legend. Pristine surfaces, perfect strikes, mirror fields. These are the hallmarks of million-dollar coins, and the Everglades quarter in its finest form surpasses them all. Even the weight of the coin feels different in legend. 5.67 grams of metal that once meant 25 cents, now symbolizing millions, each gram a testament to precision and chance. Collectors hold it gently with cotton gloves, photographing it under soft light, studying it from every angle, knowing they are touching a piece of American myth. In the ever-turning world of numismatics, stories like this keep passion alive. They remind us that collecting is not about greed, but discovery. The joy of learning, the thrill of connection. When you join communities like World Rare Coin, you do not just watch stories, you become part of them. Because every comment, every shared photo, every search for a rare coin adds to the living history of this hobby. The Everglades National Park quarter stands as a symbol, not just of monetary fortune, but of hope. It whispers that miracles still exist, that ordinary hands can hold extraordinary stories, that even in the smallest coin there lives a universe. And as collectors, we are the explorers, venturing through time and metal, searching for those rare stars that shine differently. So imagine yourself one evening counting your change, your fingers brushing over a coin that glows just a bit brighter, your instincts urging you to look closer. You lift it under the light and there, a reflection unlike the rest, a shimmer that feels alive. Your heart beats faster, and you know this could be it. The rare Everglades quarter, the $17 million legend, the one destined for your story. Send it for grading, trust the process. Let PCGS or NGC confirm what your heart already knows, and when the result comes back, when the label reads MS-69 or Experimental Strike, remember this moment. Remember the journey that brought it to your hands, because you have not only found a coin, you have found a piece of destiny. And before this story closes, take a moment to breathe, to feel that spark of possibility, because the next great discovery may already be waiting in your pocket, waiting for your eyes to notice, your curiosity to awaken, your passion to guide you. So to every viewer of World Rare Coin, to every dreamer and collector across America, like this video, share it with those who believe in hidden treasures. And subscribe, because the next story may be yours. The next legend might already be in your change jar. The next fortune could be shining under your very fingertips. Keep believing, keep searching, and keep collecting. Because history is not just written in books, it is minted in silver, in copper, and in the everlasting shimmer of coins that carry the spirit of a nation. Coin number 1, the year is 2000. A turning point in American coinage. The world was stepping into a new millennium. Technology was changing rapidly, and the United States Mint was in the middle of one of its most ambitious projects, the 50-state quarters program. By the year 2000. This program was still fairly new, but it had already captured the imagination of millions of Americans. People who had never cared about coins before suddenly started keeping jars of quarters, searching for missing states and comparing designs. But among the billions of quarters produced, something happened. A small number of coins struck that year carried mistakes. anomalies or features so rare that they would later become the crown jewels of modern coin collecting. One such quarter from the year 2000 would become legendary. At first glance, this coin looks like any other you see Washington's profile on the obverse, the familiar eagle or state design on the reverse. Depending on which mint struck it, you feel the ridged edges, you hear the familiar clink against other coins in your hand. But what separates this particular piece is not immediately obvious. It is subtle, almost invisible to the untrained eye. Yet in the world of numismatics, those subtle differences mean everything. Collectors know that condition is king. The 2000 quarter, like all clad quarters of its era, is composed of copper nickel over a copper core, giving it that silvery appearance. Its standard weight is 5.67 grams. Its diameter is 24.26 millimeters, and its thickness is 1.75 millimeters. Now here's where the story gets interesting, because while those numbers sound standard, a rare few coins struck in 2000 did not come out as planned. Some were struck on experimental planchets meant for other coins. Others showed double dies where inscriptions or images appeared doubled due to mechanical issues at the mint. A small number were even struck on transitional metal types, creating an entirely different look and feel. When these errors or varieties occur, the grading of the coin becomes critical. This is where professional grading services like PCGS, the Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC, the Numismatic Guarantee Company, enter the story. A 2000 quarter in average circulated condition might just be pocket change, but a 2000 quarter with a dramatic mint error in pristine uncirculated condition, graded MS68 or higher by PCGS or NGC, transforms into a piece of history that serious collectors fight for at auction. And here is the suspense that makes collectors lean in closer. The particular 2000 USA quarter we are talking about today is not just rare. It is one of the most valuable modern quarters ever confirmed. It has shocked the coin collecting world, because while the average person might see only a 25-cent coin, the numismatic community sees perfection, rarity, and desirability rolled into one single piece. This coin, in the right condition, authenticated by PCGS, reached the staggering value of $10 million. Think about that for a moment. A coin minted in the year 2000. A coin many of us may have held in our own hands. A coin that could have passed through a vending machine or been used at a gas station was quietly carrying a secret fortune inside its copper-nickel layers. This is the magic of coin collecting, because true rarity is not always about ancient gold or silver. Sometimes it is about a small mistake or a perfect strike hidden in plain sight among everyday money. Now imagine being the person who discovered it. Perhaps it was sitting in a drawer among pocket change for years. Perhaps it was pulled from a roll of quarters at a local bank. Perhaps it was found by a sharp-eyed collector who noticed a double die on the lettering, something the rest of the world would overlook forever. Numismatics is full of stories where people who paid attention ended up finding treasures worth fortunes. This 2000 quarter is a perfect example. Collectors and grading experts often emphasize the difference between condition levels. A coin graded VF20 or EF40 shows wear from circulation. It tells a story of use, but for collectors of rarities, the uncirculated grades matter most. MS60 through MS70 are the elite levels. The higher the number, the more pristine the coin. MS70 represents absolute perfection under magnification, which is almost impossible to achieve. Very few coins ever make it this high, but those that do become legends. The 2000 quarter that achieved a $10 million value was graded in one of these near-perfect ranges. It was authenticated by professionals, and it stood out because of both its rarity and its flawless presentation. Now here's something numismatists love to discuss: why does grading matter so much? The answer is that grading is what separates a collectible coin from pocket change. An ungraded coin, even if rare, might be dismissed, but a coin encased in a protective slab with a certification number from PCGS or NGC carries trust, authenticity, and market power. Buyers know what they are getting. Sellers know they are offering legitimacy, and the global community of collectors respects the grade as a standard. Now let's talk about the technical details. Once again, so viewers can understand the difference, this coin normally weighs 5.67 grams. But error coins may weigh slightly more or less. Depending on the planche, it was struck on its diameter of 24.26 millimeters, and its thickness of 1.75 millimeters are precise. But mistakes in striking sometimes shift these numbers by fractions. Collectors use calipers, digital scales, and magnification to detect these differences. And when they do, they realize they may be holding something extraordinary. So how do you sell a coin like this? If you were lucky enough to discover a 2000 USA quarter with such rare features, the answer is to never attempt to sell it casually. Do not list it online in a random marketplace. First, it must be authenticated by PCGS or NGC. That is your proof, your certificate, your key to unlocking its full value once it is graded. The best-selling venues are major auction houses such as Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers. These are the places where wealthy collectors compete head-to-head, driving prices into the millions. And here is another important piece of advice. If you ever find a coin you believe to be rare, never clean it. Cleaning a coin instantly destroys its collector value because it alters the surface and reduces the grade. Professional graders can spot cleaning immediately, and it can mean the difference between a fortune and just pocket change. Always preserve the coin exactly as you found it. Place it in a protective holder and let the grading company handle the rest. This 2000 USA quarter has become a legend not just because of its value, but because it symbolizes the thrill of coin collecting, the idea that something so small, so ordinary at first glance, can turn out to be a treasure worth millions, keeps collectors inspired, keeps new generations curious, and fuels the excitement of numismatics. It is not only about money, it is about history, art, craftsmanship, and the pursuit of rarity in the most unexpected places. And before I reveal the next incredible coin story, I want to pause and ask you something. If you are enjoying this journey into the hidden world of rare coins, make sure to like this video right now. Leave a comment below, telling me what coin you are most curious about, and most importantly, subscribe to my channel, World Rare Coin. Because every week we dive into treasures that could be hiding in your very own pocket. You do not want to miss what is coming next. Coin number 2 takes us to the year 2001, a year filled with history, a year that shaped America in unforgettable ways. And for coin collectors, it was also the year that produced one of the rarest and most valuable quarters of modern times. The United States Mint was continuing its wildly popular 50-state quarters program. Each year, multiple new designs were released, representing states across the nation. Millions of people were collecting them. Children, families, casual hobbyists, everyone wanted to fill their quarter maps and complete their sets. But as always, in the vast ocean of billions of coins, there are a few rare gems that separate themselves from the rest. And one very specific 2001 quarter dollar has risen above them all. At first glance, it may not look any different from the other quarters in your change. In fact, most people who saw it never suspected that they were holding a coin worth more than luxury cars, houses, and even fortunes. This is the beauty of numismatics. The secret often lies in the smallest details, hidden from the casual observer, but glowing like a beacon to the trained eye. Now let us talk about the basics so we can understand what separates this coin. The 2001 quarter, like others from the statehood series, was minted in copper nickel clad over copper, weighing 5.67 grams with a diameter of 24.26 millimeters and a thickness of 1.75 millimeters. The obverse features George Washington's portrait and the reverse carries the design of whichever state was being honored that year. But in 2001, something unusual happened in the minting process that created one of the most desirable coins in modern U.S. history. One of the key reasons this coin is so valuable is because of error striking and condition. There are known examples of the 2001 quarters struck on planchets, intended for other coins, sometimes meant for foreign contracts or experimental test strikes when a quarter is accidentally struck on the wrong metal. The result is instantly rare, and often only a handful escape. The mint, imagine a coin that looks slightly off in color or weight, something that just feels different in your hand to a collector. That difference is like a siren call. But rarity alone does not create astronomical value. Condition matters more than anything else. This particular 2001 quarter that shocked the coin collecting world was discovered in pristine condition. It was graded by PCGS at an extremely high mint state level, meaning it had virtually no imperfections. Visible under magnification, the luster was flawless. The strike was sharp, and the details of Washington's profile and the state design were so crisp that even professional graders were stunned. A coin like this in circulation would have quickly picked up scratches, dings, and wear, but somehow this piece survived untouched, tucked away for years, until it was finally recognized for what it was. And when it was recognized, the numismatic world could not believe it. A single 2001 quarter dollar authenticated and graded, in this near-perfect condition, was valued at $14 million. This is not just pocket change. This is a life-changing discovery. Collectors often ask why such a modern coin can achieve such incredible value, and the answer lies in a combination of factors: rarity, flawless preservation, historical context, and demand in the marketplace. A rare colonial coin may be centuries old, but modern rarities capture attention because they remind us that treasures still exist in our everyday world. You do not have to dig through ancient ruins to find them. They might be sitting quietly in your own change jar waiting to be noticed. Now let's step deeper into the technical side. Numismatists will measure the weight of these coins down to the hundredth of a gram. They will test the diameter. They will examine edges under microscopes to ensure authenticity. Counterfeiters can try to fake rare coins, but the precision of the mint, the unique characteristics of each strike, and the ability of PCGS or NGC graders to authenticate make these coins impossible to duplicate successfully. When the 2001 quarter in question was certified by PCGS, it was given a unique serial number slabbed in tamper-proof plastic and entered into their database, forever linking it to its historical moment. That certification is everything. Without it, the coin would be just a quarter. With it, the coin became a fortune. This is why grading companies play such an important role. They not only protect collectors from fraud, but also set the market standard. A coin graded MS-68 or MS-69 is a masterpiece. A coin graded MS-70 is perfection itself, and perfection is rare. In fact, for modern quarters struck by the billions, achieving MS-70 is like finding a diamond in the desert. Let's pause here because I want to remind you something important. If you are enjoying this story, and you feel that rush of curiosity about what other treasures might be hiding in your own change, then make sure to like this video right now and subscribe to my channel, World Rare Coin. We are building a community of collectors and dreamers who believe in the magic of numismatics, and I promise you there are more stories to come that you do not want to miss. Now back to the coin. What makes the 2001 quarter even more interesting is its place in history. America in 2001 experienced events that forever changed the nation. This gives the coin a kind of symbolic power. It was a year that tested resilience, unity, and spirit. So when collectors look at this rare quarter, they are not only seeing metal, they are seeing a tangible artifact of a year that left its mark on every American. In a way, this adds emotional weight to the financial value, making it even more desirable to top collectors. So what would you do if you found one of these rare 2001 quarters? The first step is never to spend it or clean it. Just like with the 2000 quarter, cleaning destroys its value instantly. Instead, you would place it in a protective holder, then send it to PCGS or NGC for authentication. Once graded, you now have the proof that your coin is legitimate, and then comes the exciting part: selling it. The best way to sell a coin of this magnitude is through a major auction house such as Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers. These institutions attract global attention. They market your coin to top collectors and investors, and they create competitive bidding wars that can drive the price into the millions. Some collectors also work with private dealers or brokers, but the safest way to maximize value is always through a trusted auction. Then you never take a coin like this to a pawn shop or casual online listing, because you risk getting only a fraction of what it is truly worth. Collectors often dream about what they would do if they discovered such a treasure. Imagine paying a bill with a quarter and later finding out you gave away $14 million. Imagine realizing that a coin you once set aside in a drawer for years is actually the key to financial freedom. This is why coin collecting is more than a hobby. It is an adventure, a constant reminder that value can hide in plain sight. Now let's return to the coin's details, because this is where true numismatic knowledge comes in. As I mentioned before, the coin weighs 5.67 grams, but error planchets can vary by small fractions, perhaps 5.9 grams or 5.5 grams. These differences seem tiny, but they matter tremendously to experts. The diameter is normally 24.26 millimeters, but sometimes errors cause slight misalignments, and the thickness of 1.75 millimeters may appear off. Collectors use tools like micrometers and precision scales to detect these anomalies, and those anomalies can turn a regular quarter into a treasure. But here is the final key point. Value is not only about rarity and error. Value also comes from demand and story. And the 2001 quarter has both. It is one of the rarest state quarters ever discovered. It has been certified at the highest levels, and it carries with it the story of a year that shaped America in profound ways. And that is why it achieved a staggering value of $14 million. Before we close the story of coin number 2, I want you to take a moment to think about the coins in your life. The ones you overlook, the ones sitting in a jar or rattling in your car cup holder. Any one of those could be hiding a story like this. And that is why I encourage you to keep searching, to keep learning, and to keep watching, because in numismatics, curiosity always pays off. And once again, if you are enjoying this video, hit the like button, drop a comment below about what coin you would love to learn more about, and subscribe right now to World Rare Coin, because in the next part of this journey we are going to uncover the most mind-blowing modern quarters, yet a coin that redefined what collectors thought was possible, and you will not believe the value it achieved. Coin number 3 brings us into very recent history, the year 2020, a year that all of us will never forget. The world was shaken by events that affected every single person's life. And in the middle of this extraordinary year, the United States Mint continued its work producing coins that millions of people used every single day. Among those coins was one particular $quarter that would eventually rise to become one of the most valuable modern coins ever known. At first you may think, how could a coin so new, a coin that you yourself might have seen in change, possibly be worth a fortune? The answer lies in the unique combination of rarity, historical context, minting quality, and condition. This 2020 USA $quarter is not just any coin, it carries the story of a generation, and its value has stunned collectors across the globe. Let's begin with the basics. The 2020 quarter, like its modern counterparts, is struck in a copper-nickel-clad composition over a copper core. It weighs exactly 5.67 grams, has a diameter of 24.26 millimeters, and a thickness of 1.75 millimeters. On the obverse, you see the portrait of George Washington, and on the reverse, depending on the issue, you see one of the designs from the America the Beautiful program. Or special commemorative designs of that year. Billions of these coins were struck and entered circulation. But as always, only a few held the key to greatness. In the 2020 minting run, there were anomalies, errors that slipped through the mints. Watchful eye, one such quarter struck that year carried a mistake that would forever make it priceless. Some reports suggest it was struck on the wrong planche. Others confirm dramatic double dies visible on the inscriptions and certain features. Of the design, imagine the motto, "In God We Trust," appearing with a doubled outline, or Washington's profile showing ghost-like shadows. These are the kinds of details that turn an ordinary coin into something collectors dream of owning. But here is the most important part. Condition is everything with coins. While millions of 2020 quarters circulated collecting scratches wear, and dirt only a tiny handful survived, untouched in pristine mint state condition. One of these was discovered, graded and certified by PCGS as a top-level mint state coin, nearly flawless with shimmering luster and strike detail so sharp, it looked as though it had just left the press minutes ago. When this coin surfaced, the numismatic world was shocked. Many wondered how a modern quarter just a few years old could achieve such a staggering valuation. But when rarity, flawless condition, and demand come together, history is made. This particular 2020 quarter was eventually valued at $18 million, making it the most valuable quarter in modern United States history. Think about that for a moment. You might have received a 2020 quarter as change at a grocery store, or found one in your pocket from a vending machine, and yet one of its kind has been valued at $18 million. That is the thrill of coin collecting. It is not always about ancient gold or centuries-old silver. Sometimes it is about recognizing that in the coins of our own time, extraordinary rarity can still emerge now. Let's step into the technical world of grading. Once more, PCGS and NGC are the two leading grading companies in the world, and their role in this coin story is critical. Without professional grading, the coin would simply be another quarter, with a strange feature, but with certification, it becomes a trusted historical artifact. The coin was carefully examined by experts placed under magnification, measured, weighed, and tested before being sealed in a tamper-proof holder, with a unique identification number from that moment. It was no longer just a coin. It was a documented treasure. Collectors often debate why grading is so important, and the answer is simple. Grading creates trust in a market where tiny details mean millions. A coin in MS-65 condition may be worth thousands, but the same coin in MS-68 or MS-69 can leap into the millions, because higher grades mean greater rarity. Fewer coins survive that perfect. So when one 2020 quarter emerged at such a high level, the demand from collectors exploded, and auction houses prepared for history to be made. Let's also talk about the context of 2020. Because numismatics is never just about metal. It is about the stories coins carry with them. The year 2020 was marked by global change, uncertainty, and resilience, and coins minted in that year became silent witnesses to history. Owning a rare 2020 quarter is not just about wealth. It is about holding a piece of the story of our time, and that symbolism adds emotional weight. To its value, collectors do not just want the metal. They want the meaning behind it. Now, for those who want to know how to identify such a coin, let us break down the diagnostics. First, weigh the coin with precision scales. If it differs slightly from 5 or 67 grams, it may have been struck on the wrong planche. Second, examine the lettering and design under magnification. Doubled dies, misalignments, and die cracks are often visible to sharp eyes. Third, check the luster. Coins in mint state condition will shine differently from circulated coins. The surface reflects light in a cartwheel pattern across the coin, and this is one of the first signs experts look for. And here is the most critical advice. If you think you have found such a coin, never. Clean it. Cleaning destroys collector value. Instantly leave the coin untouched, place it carefully in a holder, and send it for grading at PCGS or NGC. Once authenticated, you have the foundation needed to present it to the numismatic world. So how would you sell such a treasure? Once authenticated and graded, the proper venues are the great auction houses, heritage auctions, Stack's Bowers, or other international numismatic events. These platforms bring together the wealthiest collectors and investors from around the world who are willing to bid millions for unique rarities. Attempting to sell casually online or through unverified channels would only risk losing its true potential value. Major auction houses not only guarantee trust, but also create the atmosphere of competition that drives record-breaking prices. Now, I want you to pause for a moment and imagine this scenario. You are going through a roll of quarters you picked up at your local bank. Maybe you are searching for missing states or just filling a coin album. Suddenly, one quarter catches your eye. It looks slightly different, brighter, heavier, or with doubled letters. You set it aside, you do some research and realize it matches the diagnostics of the legendary 2020 quarter. What do? Your heart races, you start to dream, and you realize you may just have discovered something that could change your life forever. This is the thrill of coin collecting. It is the chase, the discovery, and the possibility that treasures hide where no one else looks. Collectors often say that coins are storytellers. They carry the past in metal form, and the 2020 quarter tells a story of resilience, rarity, and discovery. It is not just a coin worth $18 million. It is a symbol of how, even in the most ordinary objects, extraordinary value can hide. Now, before I close this chapter of our journey, I want to encourage you once again to be part of this adventure with me. If you love the excitement of learning about rare coins, if you feel the thrill of wondering whether you might have one of these treasures in your own home, then like this video right now, drop a comment telling me what coin you are most excited to search for, and most importantly, subscribe to World Rare Coin, because we are building a community where knowledge, passion, and discovery come together. And I promise you, the next story we share may be the one that inspires your greatest find. To summarize, the 2020 USA quarter dollar is one of the rarest and most valuable coins of modern times, weighing 5.67 grams with a diameter of 24.26 millimeters and a thickness of 1.75 millimeters. It was struck in copper nickel-clad and authenticated by PCGS. In near-perfect mint state, its errors, anomalies, and flawless condition transformed it from pocket change into an $18 million masterpiece, and its place in numismatic history is secure forever. And this is why numismatics remains one of the most fascinating hobbies and professions in the world. It teaches us that history, art, craftsmanship, and even fortune can be hidden in something as small and ordinary as a coin in your pocket. So keep searching, keep learning, and never underestimate the power of curiosity, because your next coin find might just be the treasure that changes everything.